So I want to talk to you about the village idiot, Sheriff Ron Freeman. So there are a lot of issues that I have with Ron Freeman, and one of the big issues that I have is his lack of qualifications to hold the position of sheriff. Because essentially, being a sheriff is a lot of responsibility, and I feel that Ron Freeman has displayed throughout his entire law enforcement career that he is unable to hold any kind of position that holds anyone accountable or displays any sort of integrity. Because mind you, Ron Freeman was fired from Forsyth County in 2012 for being corrupt. He was forced to resign rather, from the city of Brookhaven in 2014 for being an ethical slug. Yet he found his way back into the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. This time as sheriff, which is very, very alarming to me because he has employed people like Andy Kalin who should not be in law enforcement. Mind you, when Ted Paxton was sheriff, the drunk, even he wouldn't hire Andy Kalin. Yet when Ron Freeman gets elected sheriff, he walks on in with Andy Kalin as his plus one. Not a single background check, polygraph, agility test, nothing that is standard for new hires to the sheriff's office was conducted with Andy Kalin. He should not be in a position that investigates anything other than bingo games, because Andy Kalin is an idiot and he is a hothead. So, case in point, the entire Tamla Horsford investigation was skewed from the beginning of the 911 call. So not only was Ron Freeman directly connected to at least half of the people that were present the day that Tamla Horsford was killed, he was also made aware that there were many inconsistencies in stories and flat out lies. Yet he nor any of his detectives did anything to further investigate any of these claims. In fact, they turned their investigation from the persons of interest onto people that were giving them information that was validated and directly conflicts with what they were being told. Yet they did nothing. Like, this entire investigation is an egregious miscarriage of justice for the entire Horsford family and for the citizens of Forsyth County, because clearly you have like a murderer walking around Forsyth County all willy-nilly and nothing is happening. I'll give you an example. Nicole Lawson stated in her statement that she arrived at John's house at like 6 something. She stayed until 10:30 and she left. And she left at 10:30 because she had a dog at the house that she had to let out, and her and Sarah talked on the phone while she was driving. Well, I know this to be a lie for 2 reasons. One, Sarah did not confirm any of the things that Nicole said in her statement. In fact, Sarah didn't mention Nicole at all. And then John's Aunt Madeline puts Nicole there at between 4 and 4:30, meaning if she did in fact leave at 10:30, that means that she left the dog there for 6 hours by itself. So, I mean, if the dog was there 6 hours by itself, it probably pissed and shitted everywhere already. So we know that's a lie, right? And then she also states that she was present when Tamla spoke on the phone with her, her daughter and her grandson during FaceTime. Well, the Horsford family provided the sheriff's office with receipts showing that this call happened after 12:30 a.m. And yet Nicole vividly puts herself there. And yet not another red flag is raised? Are you serious? Okay, so here's another issue. So, everyone states that Tamla Horsford was the only smoker at the house. And I know this to be a blatant lie. Because first, even in the crime scene photos, you see 2 different brands of cigarettes. Now, typically, even though it's possible, most people don't smoke 2 different kinds of cigarettes at the same time. So, we know that there was, in fact, another smoker there. And the smoker's name is Thomas Smith. And yet, there was no further investigation into that because clearly he lied about being a smoker and everyone else lied about him smoking. So that is very concerning to me as well. And this information was also given to the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. And yet, no one looked into those claims. And you know what else is very concerning? Is Madeline, the aunt. So Madeline the aunt, we're to believe her, her statement that, she wakes up every morning at like, 8:30, goes outside to see what the temperature is, because she's from Louisiana. She's not used to the temperature change in Georgia. So this is issue number one. So in her statement, she says that she went to bed around halftime. Well, halftime happens at about 9:30 p.m., okay? So if she went to bed at 9:30 p.m., and there was a time switch which gave an extra hour, or am I really to believe that Madeline slept for like close to 12 hours? Like she was like literally, down in her basement cellar, like knocked out for 10 hours, not hearing or seeing anything? It is not the least bit suspicious to you that Madeline literally crept up the stairs not to disturb or wake anyone else up when she went to go alert John and Jose that, something may be wrong with her friend? And the fact that Madeline is like 60 and clearly she's been around for a while, she didn't think to to actually walk up to her to see if she was okay or to even call 911. None of that seems peculiar to you, or the fact that she knocked on a door so quietly like no one heard her that she had to knock a second time. And if we are to believe their statements, John, Jose, and Madeline, John actually got on the phone with 911 before she ever came downstairs to see what was going on. So how is she giving so much detail about the position of Tamla and how she was laying and stuff if she never saw her body when she was calling 911? And what's even more peculiar is that why is she giving the 911 operator a full alibi like she's on first 48 and she's being interrogated? Like, that's a little weird to me. Like, she's kind of over-explaining. Like, if you've ever witnessed a kid that got caught, like, eating cookies before, dinner, and their little explanation, it kind of sounds like John. She's kind of oversharing at that point. And why is it that John is unable to change batteries in an Arlo security camera? I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen what Arlo looks like, but those batteries are kind of like, batteries that you find in like kids' toys. And the fact that John has, two, middle school, high school age kids, Jose and her ex-husband, and you're telling me none of these people knew how to change the batteries out of Arlo? And I'm pretty sure that, John has some things in her nightstand that share the same battery size as that Arlo camera, and you're telling me she couldn't change the battery? Yeah, I'm going to call bullshit on that. Another thing that I found peculiar is that if you listen to like the very end of the 911 call, Jose states that when the 911 operator asked him, so like, where are they going to meet you at? He says, yeah, they can come around back, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go put my shoes on and I'm going to meet them there. Hold up, wait a minute, bruh. You were just like out there, or leading us to believe that you're out there, like looking at her, assessing her, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why would you go inside to put your shoes on and then come back outside to meet someone unless you had never come outside? Because I find it very peculiar to think that, you would run outside and then come back inside, take your shoes off to wait for 911 to come, and then put your shoes back on again. Because considering what's going on, that seems like a lot of work. So I think you're lying, bruh. And then the other thing that I find very, very suspicious is the Smiths. So this whole thing about Tamla wanting to leave and them not letting her leave that's a little concerning. And why was it that the Smiths conveniently left right before Madeline started creeping up the stairs to let Jose know that, something was wrong with her? And why is it that as soon as they got home that they, went to get cleaned up? Like they literally went home to get cleaned up, and by the time they got out the shower, they were summoned back to the house and they were freshly bathed and in a change of clothes. How come no one asked them, like, what were you wearing that day? Like, that's not at all concerning to you? And what about this whole business about Stacy saying that Tamla wanted their phones to stay together because Tam was going to be sleeping alone because Thomas was selfish, because Thomas and Stacy were sleeping in a room together? So I'm to believe that a grown woman who had 6 kids, a grandson, and one on the way was jealous that she would be sleeping in a bed by herself, and she did not want her poor little cell phone to be alone throughout the night. So she volunteered to have Stacy's phone sleep with her phone on the kitchen counter. Does that make any sense? Why would someone who is enjoying a girl's night out, who rarely gets any free time or alone time, is going to be crying about sleeping in a bed by herself? Why? Why is someone who is, by all accounts, not intoxicated and is wide awake, why would they want to voluntarily give their phone up? That's not making a lot of sense. Furthermore, why is someone, again, by all accounts, who is a neat freak and doesn't like to walk around barefoot, why is she going outside to smoke a cigarette barefoot? Why is she going to go outside and it's like 35 degrees outside with no jacket on? Tamla Horsford was born in the Virgin Islands. Tamla Horsford is naturally cold-natured. Why would someone who is cold-natured walk outside to smoke a cigarette in the freezing cold? Why is that? Why did John Myers sell her house to a Forsyth County deputy? That's not suspicious at all. No, sirree, Bob. It's not suspicious that she interrupted a person of interest interview to offer police officers gift cards that were investigating her for someone who was found dead in her backyard. Man, that is not suspicious at all. I cannot think of any good logical reason why someone would intentionally interrupt an investigation into why someone was found deceased in their backyard to offer up gift cards. Man, John must be a really nice person. That's the reason why. I have another question. Why is it that it is mandatory for all the Forsyth County Sheriff's deputies to be trained in basic CPR and not a single Forsyth County deputy assessed Tamla Horsford? In fact, one of the officers on scene was an EMT of 15 years in New York, yet he did not give any aid or assess Tamla Horsford once, nor were there any kind of EMTs or fire on scene at all that entire day. And Ron Freeman hired Andy Kalin, and Andy Kalin's dumbass handled this entire investigation. Sounds about right to me. This is all your fault, Sheriff Freeman. So, next episode on Forsyth Exposed, we are going to go deeper into the things that I just mentioned, all the egregious acts and the willful ignorance of Ron Freeman. So next time, people.